So, Chesterton Cigars in Steubenville sent me a Pints with Aquinas cigar, free of charge. They just said I had to do a review on my YouTube channel, so pretty good deal. So I'm gonna try it out. I've actually never had one of these cigar things before, so kind of just give you my honest review of it. So here we go. No, 0 out of 10. All right, so here's the real review, because I feel bad not doing a real review since they sent me these nice cigars. I have my friend Mitch here. Mitch, thank you for being here.
Yeah, glad to be here.
So they actually sent me two cigars. There's the Pints with Aquinas cigar, and then there's the Chesterton cigar, both obviously made by them. I actually had the Chesterton at the opening weekend in Steubenville, so I've already tried that one, but I want you to try it.
Great.
I've not tried the Pints one, so I'm going to try
They
this
look
one.
great.
They do, yes.
There's just something about a cigar with simple gold and dark colored paper. It speaks to me.
Very true.
Usually I'm a Romeo and Julieta guy. I don't know if you
So are you very into cigar? Because I'm like a once a month, like I kind of...
Correct. That's more along the lines that I am. But when you find the one that you really like, I have a hard time going elsewhere, except in awesome circumstances like this, to support amazing people such as the Pints of Aquinas people.
Now, how good are you? Like, can you like smell and be like, like it smells like...
I can certainly act like it's like the best of them.
That's how I am. Because like, normally I smell cigars, that kind of smells like crap, but...
No, I love that smell.
You love this smell?
Right. Let's trade.
Right. Pride Month special.
Yep.
Switch. No,
special.
No, it smells the same to me. I don't like this smell.
No, it is different.
Yeah.
This one, oh man, they're both good.
So the way the
I think
employee described that one is peppery, and I would agree. Once I started smoking, I was like, yeah, peppery is
here's
the word.
Terribly sad thing, is before 2020, I was going to be a wine sommelier. I was in the process of becoming a sommelier.
There's like a certificate program for that?
Yeah, it's a whole school program. You learn all the history, the locations, the different vines, the different wines, different areas, all the stuff. To have all the, it's like cigars or any craft, you can learn what goes into making it, what the history behind the story and everything. Also, wine, just as a side note, fantastic Catholic story in America especially. Like all of California is extremely Catholic, and at all of these missions that Father Hudo Pericera would set up, they would need wine for the Eucharist, and so they would plant these vineyards, and they had the mission grape, and so like all of these cities that we're used to seeing used to be these missions that would always have wine. So it was anyway, it's a great story, but what I was getting at is I was going to be a sommelier, and then I get COVID. And I remember the day that my scent went away. And
your sense of smell? Or...
Yeah, it's like 60% that it used to be. So
still?
The sommelier thing's out, but every cigar I have...
Yeah, mine is still not fully back either. That's
every cigar I have is very enjoyable, but not as fine of a review.
This is good. I like this. Like I'm sorry, Chesterton, but I'm not gonna be able to like describe like why I like it or what about it, but it's a good cigar. Like, I don't know. I wish I had better words for this.
Here's what I'll say. When you cut it open, it's not blowing apart into pieces.
It's a good sign.
As soon as you cut, they'll like crack. Even if they're in the bags and they're well humidified, they'll just crack and they'll flake off in your mouth, and it's just a lot of spitting. This one, the burn is even. The amount of smoke you get is what you want, because there's nothing like the disappointment of getting a cigar and lighting it up and not having a cloud on the first couple of puffs.
This is
like when you just get like the thing you can barely see. It's like, what are we even doing here? You want to be instantly into that contemplative tobacco incense.
Very true.
As soon as you start. Oh, it's lovely.
Now, a fun fact about Mitch. You were technically, I think, the first subject of my first YouTube poop.
Really? That's true.
I think that's the first one I ever made.
And I grew up spontaneously. That's when I was like 5. So I shot at my mom in her Bible study. It was like catastrophic.
That was a long time ago. It was catastrophic.
It was catastrophic. That was the line. It was catastrophic.
Those were fun days.
Yeah.
And now look at us. On top of the Catholic world.
So Mitch, what's your favorite video of mine? What comes to mind immediately?
The first one that came to mind was the Joe Rogan clip where you were splicing up different videos and they're talking about.
Oh, like as if they're talking about mine.
Correct.
Mm.
It was so well done.
Yeah.
It was so well done. And then when you did Thursdays, well, it was like the first time that you took the Matt Fradd program and wrote a script for him and sent it in with the AI, and they were watching it. It was like so much fun. Yes, they were so much fun to watch them review it and listen to it.
Yeah,
and see the reaction.
that was having Matt Fradd live react to it, because I didn't even know until it was like happening. Like people were like, "He's watching your video right now." I was like,
but I will say that as far as like quality goes, sorry, I'm just blowing this in your face. As far as quality and just impressiveness goes, the Trent Horn interview.
Oh, of course,
It's
hard to beat
the
that.
list. It's at the top of the list.
Yeah.
It's such a great niche that you find yourself in, because you see the between the two ferns stuff and you see it out there in the world, but there is this growing, emerging culture of this deeply Catholic and excellent YouTube programming that there hasn't been a lot of like the best of the world, like the humor and comedy.
Yep.
And so for you to fill this space and bring some of that to the church is just so needed in a time where things are always so tense and exhausting.
I always say, like, everyone's a target, whether I like you or not. Like, all sides of...
I was the first.
You were the first, and I like you pretty well, I'd say. Yeah.
It's very special.
But yeah.
Very special.
So how else would you describe the cigar if you had to...
Well, another thing, the burn rate.
Burn rate is good.
Fantastic, because you're making some progress, but you're not scared. And you can be scared for two reasons when you're smoking a cigar. You can start to feel a little bit of a buzz, and you haven't even begun the cigar, and you're going, oh, geez, I can't even finish this. You can also get scared when it's just burning way too quick, and this is a happy medium.
Now, here's something. I can never get it to, like, burn... Like, you see there's, like, little spot here that's not burning at all.
It's entirely user error.
Is it, like, I'm supposed to be, like, twirling it like this evenly the whole time holding it, or is it just...
See, I'm tempted to just tell you all this stuff that's not actually a thing.
You can
see how long you run with it.
People in the comments, that's not true. Yeah. that's how you get common engagement. You say something confidently that's very false.
Yeah, of course. No, I go back to the amount of smoke. It's not overwhelming. You're not like a guy who's got a vape in the car in front of you. You know, when he rolls down a window at a stoplight and he blows a cumulonimbus cloud out of like, how's that even possible? This is not too little. It's not too much. It's actually very good.
Now look at this. I can see a little bit of smoke coming out of this end. Is that supposed to happen?
I don't know if I've ever actually paid attention
Not sure if I've noticed
that. But
it's probably a sign of good airflow, if I had to guess. Right. I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna say it's a good thing, because why not? I'm not
great airflow.
Smart enough to know if it's a bad thing. If that's like a bad
the
thing.
Amazon reviews, you know? Is this the subject line in the beginning? Great airflow.
Yeah.
So who would you say is your favorite cigar smoker in history?
Favorite cigar smoker in history?
And you can't say Chesterton.
I was gonna say who's the Gary Oldman played him in a movie, the British guy. Why am I blanking? Churchill. He's just the first guy that comes to mind, I think.
Yep,
cigar.
he would be.
I can't say I endorse him or anything like that. But.
He smoked an alarming amount of cigars every day. Otherwise, he'd just gnaw on them. You ever pass somebody in the car that's just chewing on a cigar?
No, is that a thing?
That's a thing. I've been on the freeway several times, and there's an old guy in a truck who's just gnawing on an unlit cigar. You know, he's like halfway down.
Does it give you the nicotine hit?
I don't know. I've never tried it, but it's pretty impressive. Churchill's up there. And I was just thinking about in our Christian world, how often we chat GPT, a message.
Guilty.
And how often we just like, hey, come Holy Spirit. He'll make up for the lack. And I was like, yeah, what if we put in as much effort as Churchill did, and then the Holy Spirit on top of that,
the Holy Spirit fills in the gaps. Yeah.
Or takes it even further.
Yeah.
I don't want to just use the Holy Spirit as a way to just bless our lax efforts. But I was really inspired by Churchill. So he's up there with the favorite cigar people. The other one is probably my dad.
Okay. Big cigar guy?
Well, no, not really. He used to be. He hasn't done it as much, but I remember just growing up, and he'd be in the backyard with just a friend. And there was kind of a rotation of friends, business partners, neighborhood friends. And I just remember thinking, one, I love that smell. Like if I would peek around the corner,
even as a kid.
Yeah, and they were just in 2 lawn chairs smoking cigars. Something you don't ever hear about or see very often anymore. It's like bourbon and whiskey and fire pits have replaced that, which is good. But man, just 2 guys. I remember he would just have these conversations, and it smelled so good. And it just looked like this cool masculine thing to do. I was like, someday I'm going to do that.
Someday that'll be me.
And here we are.
Do you remember your first cigar? How old were you? When was it? What happened?
My first cigar was a cigarillo, Black and Mild.
From the gas station?
No, what happened was I was in SPO household with you. It was the same year, or the year before.
Okay.
We're roommates, and I was an absolute mess of a sophomore. You know, just like every other sophomore that rolls into college, gotten through your freshman year, and like, what's going on? And I remember getting into household. Here's all these awesome, gritty, Catholic, virtuous men that are just getting after life, and I was like, I need to become like these guys. And I had just broken up with my girlfriend of like 3 years into high school. It was a distance thing. It was this whole thing. In my room, and my buddy comes in, and he goes, "Hey, you need to come outside." And I was like, "Gosh, I'm in trouble. I did something. I just barely know these guys." And I come out, and they're all sitting at a fire, and some of them have cigars. I guess I was thought of late, and they didn't have enough cigars. I had never smoked anything in my life.
Okay.
There's a pack of Black and Milds, and they pitched me on a dating fast. Like, the world is just getting out there and being reckless and just finding gals and just, like, going crazy. They're like, if we find a girl we want to marry, like, we're going to make that happen quick. And so what we need to do right now is become men that we can invite women into. We want to, but we're going to dedicate a certain time period of our lives, a couple months or so, to just really go hard at being holy and virtuous and kind of recovering from this past life, getting close with the Lord, and moving forward. And I was like, that sounds hard and difficult. I'm not sure if I want to do it, but I 100% know that I need to do this. And so then I was like, no better time than now, and picked up a
cigar to commemorate the beginning.
And then a couple nights later, somebody had a real, actual cigar. And then that was like, yeah, this is it. And then I got into pipe.
Okay.
Corn cob pipe, picked up from like a corner store on campus, and I'm like, this is it. This is legit. Because I always saw, Versati and just some of the greatest images of history with a good...
Tolkien, right?
Tolkien with a good, wise, contemplative look, thinking about something with a pipe. And it was special, but man, there's nothing like a well-made cigar. And the other part about cigars is you can't talk too much because then they go out. So it forces you to shut up, which is helpful.
Can be, yeah. I think my first cigar was with you because
With me?
If I remember correctly, because our good friend Clayton, at the end of the year, gave me and a bunch of guys a cigar just as a gift. And up to that point, like, I didn't have anything against cigars, but I was like, I'm not going to go out and buy one. Like, I don't care that much. But he gifted one. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm definitely going to smoke this.
Yeah.
And this would have been summer household.
Okay.
At the Ford, right?
Yep.
And we were on the roof. Ring a bell at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's coming back.
I'm pretty sure that was my first cigar.
No way.
And I remember, we figured it out, and I was like, oh, this is good. I remember a couple hours after that, laying on the couch, nauseous. And I was like...
Totally agree. Like, what did I do?
And because it was interesting, because it was a delayed effect, right? It wasn't I didn't feel nauseous during it, or even, like, I don't know how much I probably did at least half of it, I don't know.
Yeah.
But nothing. But then,
not all cigars are made the same. Like, that's darker than, well, I guess not by
a little
much.
bit darker, yeah.
Darker, longer. It just, there are some really intense cigars.
Yeah. And I don't remember. It was probably a $10 cigar. Like, I don't think it was anything exceptional. But first time. And I've noticed if I go like 6 months without smoking a cigar and then I have one, and I do it too quickly, same thing kind of happened. But that first time, it was just like, oh my gosh. I was like laying on the couch, like feeling nauseous, but also like fighting it. I ended up like willing through it and not throwing up.
Sure.
Which maybe I should just.
Good job. No, I do the same thing. There is nothing worse than the feeling of throwing up.
Yeah.
I will fight it all night, telling myself the whole time that if I just get sick,
deep breaths.
If I just get sick, it'll be over in 5 minutes. But I just don't. I just fight it. What is that? I've talked to a lot of men that are in the same way. I'm just.
Is that a pride thing? You think?
Maybe? I don't know. It's just stupid.
Something tells me that your body, once you get rid of it, it's probably healthier to allow it, but I just don't like it.
Yep, agreed. Okay, so we're a couple minutes into this thing. Excellent burn rate. We still got a lot of time, but not too much time.
Yeah.
Still a fantastic amount of smoke.
And I've had
There's
issues
no
with having to
crack.
relight like very frequently, and it's not been the case.
It's
here.
not happening.
It's-
There's
yeah.
no crack going down the side as this thing is going, and yeah, I went on some long-winded segments.
You didn't
there.
have to relight. Yeah.
No, I was shocked when I
Very good. Yeah.
tested it, and it's still got a great amount of puff, a little bit of blue hue. It's perfect, and I haven't had the urge to spit one time,
You know what? I haven't either. I didn't
which
think
is
about it until
almost
just now.
every single time I have a cigar.
So a well-made cigar doesn't give you that sense of like I need to spit.
Nor
Maybe
is
that-
it like dominating my mouth. There's no tingling going on. There's no like coating, and you just feel like you need to
Does it
spit.
still have that peppery sense that was mentioned?
I remember
I feel-
telling you that my nose is bad.
That could be,
It ain't-
yeah.
It ain't
I was
there.
gonna say this one's not as peppery. I remember that one being a little peppery, but yeah, I've not had the urge to spit.
It's-
Which I've kind of grown accustomed to not spitting, but I normally at least have the like. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I should. But yeah, I'm just subconsciously like, oh yeah, I haven't had
This isn't even close. This feels
Mm.
like eating chocolate. as enjoyable as it gets. It's awesome. Well done. Do you know the story behind these guys?
I do not.
Because Chesterton and Co, man, you're doing a great job.
If you ever go out to Steubenville, you should stop by and I don't know about the Chester one. I know with the Aquinas you could buy a whole case. I think it's like 20 cigars for like 300 maybe.
You know, it's a
don't quote me
shame.
on that. But it has a like a image of St. Thomas. It's like the box is like really nice.
I have never made it to Steubenville.
Shame.
I know.
Sure.
So you got to take me to Steubenville
Yeah,
sometime.
we'll have to do it sometime.
Let's go. That sounds wonderful. Yeah, this is wonderfully enjoyable. Now, the real test here is the cigar plus the whiskey.
What's a good and bad thing to happen?
You just hope it's great.
Just goes
Just,
together.
yeah, it's like when you slap some peanut butter and Nutella together. It works. 90 proof.
I thought you were gonna say peanut butter and jelly you threw out. I mean, both. Good whiskey though.
It is good whiskey.
That one is not sponsored, so we're not gonna tell you the name of the whiskey.
It's good whiskey.
Yeah, they do
I
pair
think
with
I think I just said whizzy. It is
whiskey.
good
We're gonna have to
whiskey.
censor that.
Yeah. So who's your next victim? who's like?
All right, sneak peek for people who made it this far in the video. I will be interviewing Keith Nestor. Have you heard of him?
Yes. I don't know him very well.
I don't either. I need to figure out some good jokes. Joe Heschmeyer.
Okay.
And there's a third one I probably shouldn't say because it's not confirmed yet, but potentially a third,
Come on.
maybe a fourth. We'll see. But there's the Catholic Creator Conference coming up in July, so there's
Mhm.
going to be a lot of.
Is that in San Diego?
No, that is in Steubenville.
Okay.
Catholic Answers Conference in San Diego.
That's the one.
But yeah, so there's going to be a lot of people there, and they're going to have equipment to record, which I don't have the equipment to do.
Sure.
The Trent Horn video was done with other people's equipment, so hoping to crank out a few there.
Yep.
Yeah,
Sweet.
those will be my next victims.
Very exciting. Is the Pope ever going to be a victim of pseudochemical?
It would have to be done very tastefully.
It certainly
I don't
would.
wanna- yeah.
I like this guy so much.
Mm.
I've been so impressed with this guy.
Mm.
He
Chicago.
seems to carry this like friendliness,
Mm.
but not overly friendly. Like sometimes if there's an overly friendly, you get this vibe of just like a little soft. Like, oh, he's just a friendly guy.
He's a people pleaser.
But you can tell he is so loving, but he's got a backbone. Like you can tell he's going to appreciate the tradition, and he's going to articulate things and point things out that need to be pointed out, and keeping like a pretty solid hold on the reins, which is wonderful.
Have you seen the new Vatican website or heard about it?
How about it?
Like, I'm assuming he had something to do with that. Why did it just
I mean-
change out of nowhere after so many years?
I mean, it's a good time to release a new website. I think 30 years ago could have been a good time to release an
Was
updated
the internet
website as
even-
well.
That was probably when it started. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. 30 years ago, was the internet around? Maybe.
30
Maybe in
years
this
ago
early
was
stages.
95.
Yeah.
It was in the early stages.
Early stages. Yeah.
It was in the early stages. But yeah, it looks great.
Mhm.
It's so exciting that I believe we live in the most interesting time in history. I was doing research on, I was trying to figure out what the daily life experience of somebody 1000 BC, 500 BC, year zero, 500, 1000, 15, like 500 year increments. The average daily life experience of an average person in the world.
It's the most interesting right now.
I tell you what, man, from 1000 BC to 1000 AD, not a tremendous amount of change. Small, agriculture. I mean, you go from wood tools to metal tools. That's a big.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, the way that people are relating to the world and to one another, by and large, mostly the same. You get a little bit of an uptick here as we get to the 1500s, and then especially in the Industrial Revolution, that picks up really quick. Which is why everybody and their mom is reading Rerum Novarum right now, because that's the most popular thing. But it's brilliant because Pope Leo XIII, during the Industrial Revolution, is looking around going, okay, we have a couple people in the world that have a massive amount of wealth. You know, you're talking Rockefeller and such. And you got all these new machines. People are worried that their jobs are going to be replaced. They're going to be replaced by machines in the Industrial Revolution. And in the process of creating this economy, they're losing sight of human dignity. And man, I'm looking around in 2025 going, I can hear a lot of that ring true right now. You've got a couple of people who are massive, you know, Bezos, the Musks, you know, etc. You've got everybody worried, like, is AI going to replace our jobs? And in the midst of everything that's going on in the culture, human dignity is being thrown around, and what does it even mean? And
I'm hoping for an encyclical about this very topic. Dude, that'd be very much needed.
It would be fantastic. They say that there's okay, before I get there, so as soon as it picks up with the Industrial Revolution, it really, in the 1900s when technology, it's like an exponential hockey stick, and then you hit now. And I mean, the things that we're used to doing, driving cars, recording videos, smoking cigars from who knows where, you know, flying, there's people flying, 1 million people in the air above the U.S. right now. On average, there's always 1 million plus people in the air. The air conditioning. I woke up last night, my 6-month-old was up at 2 in the morning, and I roll over and I check the baby monitor, and I see she's fine. So I check, without leaving my bed, check on my daughter, and I see the temperature in the house is a little hot. So I move my finger a couple places on my phone, and the whole temperature of my house drops. Wow. And then I roll back over and go to sleep. Like, what kind of a world are we living in right now? So I think it is the most comfortable, the most, it's a time unlike any other time in history in that fact. The amount of stuff we have, the comforts, the places we can go easily without thinking. I can set out to go to Steubenville right now, and on the way, I'm not packing a horse.
No.
I know, I'm not like trying to calculate my route on a map anymore. It's so mindless. I get in, and if I want a cheeseburger, I know that probably within any 15-minute window, I can order exactly the kind of cheeseburger I want. Like, this is unprecedented
on your phone without interacting with anyone.
Correct. Unprecedented times. So to be on the spearhead of the church in the most unprecedented time in history, come on. The privilege we get to have a front row seat and work and watch the Lord work through amazing people. People making excellent cigars or making excellent videos on YouTube. The amount, like the barons, you know, the frads who are having these pivotal conversations that are keeping people engaged in reality in the midst of all this craziness is just so exciting. So I think, I heard, you know, there's been 20 councils. Happens about every 100 years. I think with how exponential things have been climbing, I think there'd be another one soon. And who better to make that happen than Pope Leo XIV?
Vatican III, baby.
Vatican III coming soon. All about
or
tech.
council in the United States. You've only had 2 councils in the Vatican. All the other cruise councils were, but like Council of Florence was in Florence, Council of Trent.
I'm up for a different location.
Yeah, we can
come on,
take turns hosting.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Yeah, I like this guy a lot. He's young enough to know and have seen the best of the West Church and the worst of the West Church, as well as appreciating.
He is a baby boomer, truly, because he was born in the U.S. Like, he's literally a baby boomer.
Literally a boomer pope.
Yeah.
Which
sounds bad, but actually, so far, I'm pretty happy. So.
Exactly. He just, in so many ways, seems to be the man for the job, which is incredibly exciting. I mean, Vatican, or a canon lawyer, who's a math major, who from personal connections with him, now a transitional deacon in Rome, knew Father Bob. Said he was really quiet, really likable, but when he spoke really precisely. And that's wonderful. I love that. Quiet guy who speaks very precisely, speaks 7 languages, so literally nothing is lost in translation. He's got the missional heart of evangelizing, being a missionary.
South America, yeah.
It seems like a pretty cool, and I love the fact that he's got the North and South American American Pope to the fullest extent, not just the United
North
States.
America, yeah.
I think it's a really cool thing that the Holy Spirit did.
Yeah.
Taking the whole world by surprise. It's nuts when you can have a pope elected in today's day and age where all of this history exists on the internet of you and everything you said and were involved in. And you can come out and have somebody like a Father James Martin say, this is a great guy. And at the same time, you've got Dr. Taylor Marshall. And I know two, ends of the spectrum here saying like, he seems like a pretty great guy.
He's unified. That's kind of what we need right now.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's such a cool gift to have. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm excited.
Any last thoughts on the cigar? Mine is funny. I don't know. It's kind of strange. I'm not going to knock you any points, but like I can't say I've seen that happen.
Nothing wrong over here.
It's definitely user error. There's nothing wrong with it. So.
Oh yeah.
Final thoughts.
It's still just as smooth, if not smoother than it was. I've still not had even the slightest urge to spit, or there's any cracking. It's wonderful.
Rate on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best cigar you've ever had in your life.
It's up there.
It's up there?
It's up there.
It's up there?
Like I said, I've been partial to Romeo and Juliet, and I forget there's a particular type that I can't think of the name of that was just so smooth. And there was no cotton mouth the next day.
Yeah. Have you had a Cuban cigar before? I had one and I wasn't super impressed with it. What did you think?
It kind of feels like a marketing. You get some Cuban.
Oh, this came from Cuba, so it's a Cuban cigar, but it's literally like just a run-of-the-mill.
This is up there.
This is I would say
10 is the best cigar that I've had. This is like a 9 or 9.5. Yeah. Just because I can't think of the best. I want to be like
this is among the best because
this is it.
I haven't had. Like I said, I probably had less than 50 cigars in my life.
I'm going to be buying a box.
This is up there.
I'm going to be buying a box very soon of Chesterton & Co. cigars. Well done, everybody.
Cool.
Well done.
If you made it to the end, thank you for watching. See you next time.